With a flashback Instagram photo that went viral on Tuesday, Lola Ripa, the daughter of Kelly Ripa, sent her admirers into a frenzy. Lola's childhood singing Annie in an old video clip went viral, and both fans and family members were raving about the nostalgic glimpse into her past. The caption for the video that the 24-year-old posted jokingly read, "Come see me perform on the 12th. Should I open with Maybe or The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow? I apologize to my brothers and parents for constantly repeating this over meals." Kelly was the first to respond, writing, "Why am I crying?" An emotional reaction expressed in a comment by a large number of followers. "I can see your mom smiling as she recorded this after hearing it a gajillion times," a fan said. "Yes," said someone else. "What a sweet video. Because it shows a young Lola singing the Broadway classic with the confidence that every parent values, a genuine voice, and an attitude full of childlike purpose. This home film is invaluable." Kelly is extremely proud of the three kids, and Hello has long documented the close-knit family dynamic. The TV personality openly talks about the highs and lows of raising her three kids, Michael, Joaquin, and Lola, on her show Live with Kelly and Mark. Parents around are moved by her stories. Not long ago, Kelly and her husband, co-host Mark Consuelos, were interviewing Jeremy Renner on Live when the subject of raising teenagers was brought up. Jeremy told a story about his 12-year-old daughter Ava, who didn't know he was famous until she heard it from her classmates. He replied, "Yes, once you become a parent, you're immediately uncool." Kelly agreed, "Our daughter's grown now, but we had a teenage daughter at one point, right around this age, 12, 13, it was brutal." Lola's memorable prom dress experience is just one example of how open Kelly and Mark have always been about the difficulties of parenting teenagers. In 2019, Kelly disclosed to the Jerry O Show host Jerry O'Connell that Lola had altered her prom dress without permission. Kelly laughed when she saw a photo on the computer and remarked, "That's the prom dress that we had made, and she had altered behind our back." But as both Lola and Kelly now admit, those years did ultimately draw them closer. In an interview with Kelly Ripa of Let's Talk Off Camera on SiriusXM, Lola talked about her changing perspective. "We frequently hear parents say to their kids, 'Listen, you're going to wish you listened to me when you were younger.' Throughout my life, I've had the thought, 'Oh my God, I totally get it,' many times." She went on to say that the most crucial lesson she had received from her parents was to be nice, respectful, and kind. "It's been really valuable," they went on to say. "The fact that many people do not receive the fundamental, respect-inspiring training that ought to be provided to everyone continues to irritate me. It's really amazing how well you've raised the boys and me." Parents and adult children often feel a strengthening of emotional bonds through nostalgia experiences, such watching childhood performance tapes, after going through the difficult adolescent years. This trend seems to be best shown by the connection between Kelly and Lola, which is marked by a shift from fierce independence to understanding. The white walls of the Ripa Consuelos living room were a honey gold color as the sun sank behind the Manhattan skyline in the late afternoon. Kelly, Mark, Michael, Joaquin, and Lola were all at the same place at the same time on one of those amazing days, which had become almost legendary in recent years. Amidst the general chaos of life, which included work, travel, adult schedules, and so forth, these moments had become increasingly treasured and uncommon. Kelly would celebrate by eating some food and watching some humiliating family videos on her phone, as she always did. She had nothing else planned. She was wearing her coziest sweater, which she claimed had magical relaxing properties, and her grin was much brighter than usual. "This is the good stuff," she declared, carrying a dish of fruit and cheese to the coffee table. "Just us, no scripts, no cameras." Michael, overconfident, pressed a grape to his mouth. "Share your thoughts. All of this is being mentally recorded for future blackmail. Please assemble," said Joaquin. Lola frowned at her brothers in silence. She had been strangely quiet all day, the kind of person who generally entered a room with the subtlety of a fireworks finale. As though battling an internal conflict, she curled up on the couch, went through her phone, locked it, unlocked it, and locked it again. Kelly immediately took note. It had nothing to do with her experience as a talk show host or her ability to read audiences. It was just that she was a mother. A mother who could sense emotional storms from a wide distance using telepathy. She sat down next to her daughter. "Is everything all right, darling?" Lola clenched her jaw so tightly that it was visible. "Yes, I do comprehend. Sort of." Mark, who had mastered the art of dad silence, looked up from his seat across the room. This is one of those moments, he thought, but Kelly could practically hear him thinking it. Remain composed. Relax. After pausing to inhale deeply, Lola placed her phone face down on the table. In fact, I have something to say. To everyone present. Her brothers exchanged glances. Michael managed to say, "Oh no," during the tense silence, as Joaquin crept to the edge of his seat, as though he were watching the trailer for a movie. Lola slipped a strand of black hair behind her ear with a slight shudder in her fingers. "I will make the announcement. I've been thinking about this for months now." Kelly hesitated to grab her hand at the last second, letting Lola take the initiative. "I'm sorry," Lola murmured abruptly, the first syllable of her voice breaking. The seriousness of this apology could not have been expressed with a shrug or a half-laugh. Weight of a dump truck. Dense. The kind that mattered. That which was planned. Kelly's face shifted. "Why, my darling?" Lola turned around to see her family and the people who had seen her grow from a young child with baby curls to a self-assured adult with vibrant lipstick. "For being difficult this year. Because they disappeared when things got out of control. Due to the failure to reply to texts. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you when I promised. For acting as though I didn't need you while you were actually my lifesaver." Michael opened his lips to redirect with a humorous remark, but he quickly closed it again. This was no laughing matter. Lola continued, her voice growing steadier. "Being independent meant facing the world alone, in my opinion. I pushed everyone away to show that I could handle it. Regretfully, I was only able to irritate the people who were most important to me. I'm sorry to have worried you. If I offended you in any way, I'm sorry." Then, she stopped and exhaled deeply, her eyes shining. "I'm sorry for giving the impression that you weren't a secure refuge. The reason is that you are. I was and always have been." The room sank into a profound calm that only deep honesty can evoke. Even the sounds of the city outside, taxi horns, a distant siren, and the general commotion of people going about their daily lives, seemed to fade for a moment. Kelly's eyes began to flood up with tears before she could stop them, while she listened with her palms on her heart. No dramatic, heartfelt sobs. The real article. Unexpected and embracing. "Lola?" she muttered. "My darling, being human is nothing to be ashamed of." Lola blinked. "However, I do." "No," Kelly said with a gentle shake of her head. "Learning is vital, therefore you shouldn't feel guilty about growing as a person. Development is not linear. There is a lack of organization. It's uncomfortable. Sometimes it's noisy, complicated, and difficult to comprehend. But you have arrived. You're speaking to our group. That's why it matters." Mark finally spoke up, his voice steady but low. "We've always known you have to fend for yourself. We trust you. We have all along." Michael nodded in agreement. "I understand. Additionally, since 2013, we've become accustomed to your negligence." That's what made Lola laugh for the first time, a small but genuine chuckle. Joaquin put his elbows on his knees and leaned forward. "We don't intend to depart. Only the two of us are there." Now that the sunlight had nearly vanished outside, the room was filled with a soft, reassuring glow from the lamps. It felt like a timeless, exclusive meeting. Lola wiped away the tears of relief that started to stream down her cheeks. "I can assure you that you won't be going. I felt compelled to verbally express myself as a result. I hope my love for you never has to be questioned." "I do, indeed. Numerous times. Sometimes, too much so. I suppose that's why I become agitated and cease answering." Finally, Kelly reached out and squeezed her hand firmly. "Our long history as a family has equipped us to handle panic episodes. Trust me." "When you had bangs in 6th grade," Kelly said without hesitation. Everyone groaned when the memory was brought up. "And the time you attempted an underhanded red dye job and ended up with purple hair," Michael said. Joaquin also brought up the incident where you almost ruined the kitchen while preparing churros. "I didn't do that." Lola said that it was essential. "Absolutely, it was," Mark said softly. The laughter grew louder and lighter, and the sound of healing filled the room.